from recording. Cool. Yeah, right. So this is our fourth workshop. Our first one was on Photoshop and how to use the sort of PSD files that come with top dog NFTs, how to make sort of edits and things like that. Our second workshop, which was a part of the first one, was on our liquidity pool and how to swap out your top dogs with other top dogs. Basically a swap shop. Number 3 was on security with Ledger. So that was focused around how you in this space as a collector cannot get scammed from scammers and DMs and phishing and basically not providing your private keys and seed phrases and that things. And that was run with Ledger, and the team joined us for that session as well. So this one is all about how to not really find a good project, but at least how to do, once you found a project, how to sort of do some basic research and get a feel for if the project is legitimate and if they're sort of going to have any future, and basically for you not to get rugged and see your ETH disappear down a sinkhole. Before we start, I must stress, very important, that none of this is financial advice. So please don't take this financial advice. It's more to give you tools and knowledge for you to enable you to do your own research and come up with your own conclusions. So what we're trying to prevent is obviously getting rugged. And I think it's important to know what that term actually means, because it's thrown around quite a bit. And I don't think there's any real dictionary definition. A lot of people have different opinions, but when I'm talking about getting rugged, I mean a project or founders promise to deliver things and they don't, and they had no intention of doing so, and it's pretty much a non-starter. They will take your money at mint, and then that's it. The project dies, the founders disappear, they delete their Twitter, they delete their Discord, that kind of thing. I think that's slightly different to a scam. I'll touch on to what that means and what the difference is later. But what we're trying to do is prevent the left, and what we're trying to do is make the right happen, so we can have a friendly rug you can fall in love with, for lack of a better analogy. So we just take a minute and just look at the NFT market and sort of maybe understand why scams, I guess, are so ripe and why they're happening. So NFTs have obviously exploded into a multi-billion-dollar sector over the last even 12 months. You can see on the right, Q3 2021, we did $10.7 billion US of trading volume, which is insane. A lot of that, in my opinion, is wash trading, but still that's a lot of USD value being thrown around. Because of that, because of the number of billions of dollars involved, that's going to attract bad actors and scammers. And it's just important to know that that isn't a problem. I know you guys on this call now know obviously quite well the NFT market. You invest in NFT. If anybody watching this after the fact is getting involved into NFTs for the first time, is not quite sure, if you do a quick Google on NFTs, you will see a lot of association with NFTs are a scam. And it's because a lot of scams are happening. It doesn't mean NFTs themselves are scams. It just means that there's a lot of money at stake, and naturally that attracts bad actors and scammers. And this isn't a problem unique to NFTs. This happens across every single industry ever. I actually, just by coincidence, yesterday saw a report, I think it was on Reddit, that Americans were scammed out of 380 million from online dating sites last year alone. So last year, Americans only in online dating, 380 million, which is insane. I had no idea it was that much. So just to say, you know, scams are going to happen. If you're in this space, you're probably going to get scammed. I certainly have. I'll come on to that later. But it's about developing the tools and the knowledge to safely navigate this space. And if we don't do that, I think people will enter and then get scammed by no fault of their own, and then very quickly leave, and then they'll become that sort of group of NFTs are a scam, which is not, it's not good for the space, it's not good for the industry, it's just not good for the space at all. So hopefully workshops like this and other events that other people are running, and just people in the NFT space generally, just providing the skills, knowledge and education, hopefully we can pass that hurdle. Like a good analogy I like to use is, if you think about the early days of the internet and emails, like I was born late 80s and I grew up with the internet, and the amount of email scams I used to receive every single day, and a lot of people obviously back in the day used to fall for those scams. Sorry, it's my dog. Used to fall for those scams, and we're sort of like the early days of the internet where scams are happening all the time and people are falling for them. And I generally think the market will mature over time and the scams will happen less and less and less. So there's two sides to NFT scams. I spoke about it at the beginning. There's from random scammers trying to steal your NFTs and steal your ETH by DMing you on Discord, phishing, pretending to be somebody else, asking for your private keys, seed phrases. And then there's the, I guess, the other side of the same coin, and it's project founders themselves running away with your ETH by overpromising, not delivering, and just rug pulling, which is what I mentioned. But we're going to focus on the latter. For the former, check out the previous workshop, the ledger that I mentioned. I guess ultimately the reason people get involved in NFTs is to make some money, right? It's an investment. There's obviously a lot of other different reasons, but I think that's primarily the biggest driver for most people. It's the same as investing in a company, investing in a startup, investing in stock shares, that kind of thing. So I think it's important to understand that NFTs overall are high risk. If we look at this pyramid, I shouldn't really call it a pyramid, chart, call it a chart. Obviously, cryptocurrency is right at the top there, and I actually think NFTs sit above cryptocurrency. I think NFTs right now are generally higher risk than cryptocurrency. It's sort of like the ICO phase of 2016, 2017, if anyone was around then, and sort of shit coins and altcoins are dropping all over the place, and people lost hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. That's, I think, where we are in the NFT space at the minute. And obviously, with the high risk can come great rewards. So imagine if you did mint 100 Bored Apes or 100 WoWs or 100 Cool Cats or 100 Doodles. That's, I guess, what we're aiming for, right? To pick out and find and invest and mint in those big projects. Which of course at the time they weren't. Like, I think I'll exclude Bored Apes from this example because they were so early, but Word of Women really took ages to sell out, and shortly after they sold out, their floor price dropped below mint for quite some time, and now obviously they're 11, 12 ETH now. Same with Cool Cats as well. They couldn't sell out at, I think, 0.08, so they had to drop their mint price to 0.02, and now look at them. Doodles has a similar story. So what I want to do is mainly in this is just sort of focus on. Well, I'm conscious we've gone 15 minutes already. Yeah, but what I want to focus on is looking at some projects and examples, and then basically learn from them. And then I want to go through what I do practically, looking at a project and how I make my decisions. And there's some really quick, easy things you can do. So I just want to give you like practical tips. I've chosen a few examples. So if we look at Pixelmon, I'm on the wrong tab. Oh, Zoom's blocking my tabs now.
Don't worry, guys. We're not hiring an NFT artist from Fiverr.
Here we are. We're
Are
sacking
we?
you off, Abby.
Am I out the job?
Yeah, sorry.
We just noticed that earlier, didn't we? And we were kind of talking about it.
So for Pixelmon, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But there was huge hype following. They've minted now, but beforehand there was huge hype. Everyone was talking about them, and they chose to do a Dutch auction. So they were starting at 3 ETH, and they were basically over time that would go down. I think they sold out everything, the whole collection above 2.5 ETH. So high, really high mint price. Obviously sold out. There's a lot of hype, a lot of people interested. But now their floor is, I think, 1 ETH. I checked earlier, yeah, just 1 ETH. So obviously people have lost a lot of money that minted. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a rug pull or anything, but I just want to go through the things I'd look for. So let's say I came across this project, I quite like the look of it. What am I going to do? What am I going to check for? The number one thing I'm going to do is obviously look at the number of followers. 200,000, that's just a ridiculous amount. That would set not a red flag off, but at least a warning flag off. For a relatively new project, that's a crazy amount of followers. Like Bored Apes and WoWs are around that. Well, I think Bored Apes are a bit more now, but like certainly WoW and other big blue chip projects are even less than that. Number thing that would raise the flag straight away is when they joined. So they are a new project, but it says they joined Twitter in September 2016. That is usually for one reason only. They purchased a Twitter account that previously had a lot of followers, and then they basically renamed it. So you can rename your usernames at any point, and that would certainly be a yellow flag, at least to me. I'd be wary just seeing that. And if we look at their website, that's obviously the next thing we sort of go to. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but they are a non-anonymous team. No one knows who they are. They don't give any information about who they are, what they've worked on before, but nothing at all, which is just crazy to me in this day and age. Maybe that was acceptable 6 months ago, but I don't think so. This point we're in. I think also it's important to just sit down and be honest with yourself and think about your goals and your values and what they mean. And I think you should only really, personally, I would only invest in things that I value myself and believe in myself. If I don't have conviction in a project, and it's most likely not a good investment for me. So I would not invest in an anonymous team now. I fully respect people and teams that need to be anonymous or semi-anonymous, but I just wouldn't. I'd avoid it. Another flag that I would pick up on is the 3 ETH mint price. It's just absolute crazy. Like they sucked out $70 million worth in an hour, and they pulled that out. So I'm pretty sure. I've not got the tab up, but I'm pretty sure they pulled out over 90% of that through a exchange straight away. So they're going to leave a couple of million left behind for whatever reason, which again is a big red flag for me. And if you look at sort of the utility and what they're actually promising, it's not a lot. It doesn't really say anything at all. Obviously, the big thing with Pixelmon is their game. So they have a game demo if you've not seen this, which looks really impressive. I'm in a small screen. Hang on a second, just drag it down. It looks really impressive if you look at it, but genuinely, a Unity developer, a game studio would be able to put that together for $15,000, like it's a proof of concept demo. So for a very small upfront investment and marketing, they've basically took away $70 million based on this video. which is crazy. To me, that's a huge red flag as well. And then you go through, they look through their utility, and again, it doesn't really say much. It's just they're creating this game. It's going to be a metaverse, and that's it. That's all there is. So I actually was following this before mint, and I knew I wasn't going to mint it purely because of the mint price. There's no way that 3 ETH can sustain volume through the secondary markets. Now, I'm not saying that this is a rug pull or a scam. Nobody really knows, but the telltale signs are there. And I would just completely avoid that project personally for the reasons I've said. And then they're already, if you scroll through their Twitter, they're already talking about having the ability to mint and purchase land. So before even their first mint's over, they're thinking about their second mint again. And if you think about why, so they've taken $70 million straight away in an hour, for little effort, little upfront work. Now, if you think about where do they go from there? Like, if you look at Bored Apes, I'll use that as an example. If we look at the rankings on OpenSea, we'll do all time. So Bored Apes have across all their whole of their history have done 390,000 in secondary sale volume. Pixelmon are taking 4.5%. If Pixelmon get to the secondary sale volume of Bored Apes at 4.5%, they're going to be taking, I think, about 47 million. Like I'm basically, there's no incentive for them, in my view, to continue working on what they promised. Like, why would they? It doesn't make any sense commercially or financially. So that's just one thing I've avoided and did avoid. I'm going to keep being a close eye on them because, like I say, it's obviously nothing's guaranteed. There's nothing really. There's no, I guess, proper evidence that it is a scam or a rug pull. They seem to be still active. Only time will tell, I think. So if we go back, Mechaverse is another big one. I'm sure people are familiar with. I picked this one because they minted. There was so much hype. There was so much FOMO that after the mint, so I believe they minted the 0.2, and everyone was happy, and there was so much hype, so much FOMO. The secondary sale floor price, I think, got almost 10 ETH, maybe past that. It's now crashed down to, I think, under 1 ETH. So obviously a lot of people who minted, and if you minted this project, you would have done well financially. But because of the secondary market, a lot of people lost a lot of money. A lot of people were saying it's a scam, it's a rug pull, but actually, I don't think it is. They were just a victim of their own success, and a victim of hype and a victim of FOMO. If you actually look at the fundamentals of the project and what the team and what they're producing, actually really, really solid. And it's like, I checked this out, there's no indications that it is a rug or is a scam or anything like that. The floor is at 1.1. But if you sort of go through their Twitter and look at what they've been doing and what they've been working on, really impressive stuff. They're hiring, keep hiring, they keep building. Obviously, this is all after the fact of the mint, so it's really hard to know beforehand. But it's interesting that a lot of people, even now, still say that Mechaverse was a rug pull. I don't think it was. It was just people had really high expectations, and the FOMO and the hype took over. So this comes back to what I was saying about what is a rug pull, what's the definition of a rug pull. If we look at Bad Bunnies, this is most certainly a rug pull in my view. They minted out yesterday, I think. Again, this had quite a lot of hype and FOMO, which is really interesting because a lot of, so if you look at, I'm going to bring up the website. So if you look at it purely objective from art, that was pretty cool. I quite like it. Reminds me of hype bears and hype something else. I can't remember what's called, hype bears, I think. But if we sort of scroll through their Twitter, 57,000 followers. Okay, it's a bit fishy, maybe. I don't know. They're relatively new, got a lot of followers already. Just keep scrolling through their Twitter. So one telltale sign is, I'll sort of start from the top and work to the bottom. So if we look at the last post, posted 21 hours ago, we look at the engagement rates. So on that post, they had 31 likes, 8 retweets, 38 comments in 21 hours. If we sort of scroll quite far down, keep going, or like all of their previous other tweets, you can see their engagement's a lot higher. And for a relatively short period of time, so when was this posted? This was posted like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago almost. That engagement drop would be a bad sign to me. It perhaps suggests to me that that level of engagement drop so quickly suggests that they might have been purchasing likes and comments and retweets on their tweets, which is really easy to do. I'll come on to that in a second, actually. But if we scroll through and go back pre-mint, there's a lot of red flags in here. Apologies if you can hear my dog in the background. So things like these, celebrities are a big thing. You can pay anybody to show your project, including Jake Paul, anybody to buy an NFT. And this is really, welcome Jake Paul. He just joined board Bad Bunny. What does that even mean? There's not really any proof or evidence it offered. I've not looked back into this, but I think what they're saying is Jake Paul's following them on Instagram, and they're saying he's joined the board Bad Bunnies, which is a bit misleading in my view. There's a video, is it gone? Back up here. I can't find it. But basically, there are a lot of similar projects that are rug pulls or scams will use the same tactics, and that is they will go on Cameo, which is a celebrity sort of, you can basically pay celebrities to make a message or a video. Like if you wanted to wish somebody a happy birthday from somebody's favorite celebrity, you can pay them $100 and they'll do a video for you and basically say whatever you want. So Cameo's a website you can use. We actually used Cameo to get Carol Baskin to read a message out when we minted the cats. Can't find the video now, it's gone. But board bunnies basically use a lot of those, and they again put in the messaging, such and such has joined the board bad bunnies. But I noticed they've got 2 websites now as well, Board Bunnies and Board Bad Bunny. Weird. Yeah, here's one. So Floyd Mayweather's posting a video, and again, that's just a paid shill. That would put me off. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a rug pull on its own, but again, it's just sort of adding to the all flags and things. Now, Board Bunny is interesting because they minted out and they're now on OpenSea on secondary, and they did reveal like their art is legitimate. So they minted it 0.25 floors halved. If you look at the art, it's not like they've left you with black boxes or whatever. Like you do legitimately have art, which is fine. Look at their roadmap. Yeah, it doesn't really say much. Again, their team's fully anonymous, so it's just got first names and then avatars of their project, which I just completely avoid. No links to socials, nothing. And they're actually groups that pump these projects out just constantly. So the Fiverr link I had up, which was what I wanted to show you, so I had it up. Okay, stop it. Sorry. So Fiverr actually, I don't know if you're familiar with Fiverr, but Fiverr is a marketplace where you can get anybody to basically do anything for quite small amounts of money. So they've got their own NFT section, and there are people that will, you might recognize some of these characters. You can basically pay, what's the standard package? £2,000, and they will create the basic character, 30 traits, 5,000 variations, all your metadata, everything's generated, collected for £2,000, which is not a lot of money. And that's what essentially these projects are doing. Doesn't mean, it doesn't really undermine the project, right? It's just comes back to what your goal is and what you want to invest in, I guess. I don't think there's anything necessarily bad with doing it like that. Like, it's just hiring an artist at the end of the day. But my point is that they're easy to pump out and they're easy to take your money and suck liquidity out. What's the premium package? 10,000 variations. So yeah, I mean, a Board Bunny, I would have avoided that purely because of the anonymous team and because of the celebrity endorsements, and also the fact Discord is another big red flag. Where's I saw a tweet on it a second ago. They've got 450,000 people in their Discord. That's a massive red flag to me. I bet 80% of those are bots. Again, Bored Apes, WoW, their Discord is, I think WoW's is like 26,000 and Bored Apes are like 50, 60,000. So there's absolutely no way they've got 450,000 in there. They just, again, buy Discord followers, so you can actually get them from crazy cheap. So there's a shop it's an Indian shop called Baddy Shop, and you can buy anything you want on the marketplace for just crazy cheap. This is legitimate, so you can buy 24/7 online members. If you want 1,000 members, $200. You click order, you put your Discord link in, and they come in their troves. Same with social media, so you can buy Facebook, Instagram, Twitter followers, buy anything you want. They've even got their own NFT section where you can buy likes and views on OpenSea. So again, really, really cheap. So if we wanted to buy 1,000 favorites, $100. And what that does is OpenSea's algorithms are based on the favorites and the likes and the views, and that's what makes them appear up under these headings on their homepage for notable drops and then trending. So it's just, I'm not necessarily saying things that are appearing in there are using these methods, but I'm just telling you about them, so you're just wary and just, I guess, just think about it in the back of your head when you find a new project. This is really, really, really easy to do. So if we look at this project, if you're, in fact, what I'll do, I just want to go through the project. So there's something I found called the Mentality Project. relatively new. I think it joined a couple of days ago. This is the sort of artwork. Looks pretty cool. Slogan, trust your mind. Reminds me of another project I've seen quite a while ago. This is the avatar, a metaverse experience like other, launching early March. Almost 3,000 followers. The pin tweet is asking for interactions and you'll be considered for whitelist. 1,300 likes, 3,000 retweets, 145 comments. I think that's their only tweet. Just want to, I guess, gather people's thoughts, like in the chat of Zoom. Let me know what you think. Like, if you saw this, what would you instantly think? Would it be something you wanted to mint based on just that pure information, or do you think it's a rug pull, it's a scam? What are the signs? Just interested to hear people's thoughts. Feel free to unmute yourself and speak as well. Pete does follow it, yeah.
It must be good then, right? If Pete follows it, then
yeah, maybe Pete's already done his due diligence.
Or maybe just keeping an eye on it. I'm looking at it.
It's a good point, actually. So looking who the project is also followed, so what follows you have in common could be a good sign. So if people you know and trust following the project, then that could be a good sign.
I mean, I'm looking at the advice that you gave us, and the number of followers seems reasonable. It looks like maybe they haven't bought loads of followers. It's a bit concerning there's only one tweet and there's a lot of engagement for that one tweet. Maybe they have paid somebody. I don't know what your assessment is. I'd like to see some more tweets. And do we have a link to a website or anything?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe they're just getting off the ground and they're just getting a little bit of something out there while they build. I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. You put it on the watch list, right? You follow it.
Yeah, just keep an eye on it. I guess.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is my project. It's a scam. I've set it up. So I've stolen this artwork online. I photoshopped it to remove some
No way.
Of the artists. It had like text and the artist watermark over the images. I removed those in Photoshop. Took me 5 minutes. Came up with a name. Came up with a strap line. Paid $50 to get some followers and $50 for people to interact with a tweet.
Whoa. That's crazy. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
There's this show, and then I don't think I'm logged into this account. No, I'm not. Actually, let me quickly log into it. I want to show you what happens in your DMs.
Julie is saying that you tricked us by having Pete follow it. Did Pete genuinely follow it, or did you make him do it?
No, I made him follow it. Yeah.
Okay, wow. I don't know if everybody knows, but Paul has got a lot of experience in cybersecurity. He kind of led a team for years, so he absolutely knows what he's doing. So I don't know why this is surprising me, but I guess you think that it's not going to happen to you, but I feel kind of scammed right now.
So on Twitter, there are these huge bot networks. I'm sure you've seen them. Usually it is like a pretty lady as a profile picture, obviously fake. And their bio or anything like that is about promoter or contact me for promotions or anything like that. And they have a crap load of followers. So the one I purchased from, so maybe 2.3 million followers. I literally messaged the account asking, what are your rates? How much your promo? Sent me this banner. This one's a bit more expensive because they've got 2.3 million followers, but you can see $100 will get them to tweet about it. And actually, it's a good strategy. What I do on another account is I follow all of these accounts, all these promotion accounts, And then if I come across a project, and then if that project is followed by any of those accounts, then it's an automatically no from me. I don't know why that project would be following those accounts unless they've used those promotion channels. So that's a good way to spot those early as well. What time are we on? 22. Let's go back to my. Yeah, so here's another one. I think this is what I actually paid for. So this was $100 for WoW promo. Yeah, I just set it up to just show you how easy it is. Like, it took me, I don't know, half an hour, including everything, including finding images, photoshopping them, posting that, and then paying somebody. Obviously, that I've stopped there, but it's so easy to just roll that, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the artist I found this work from is really relatively unknown. I think he's from India, not many followers at all. One thing I would always recommend doing is reverse searching the art. So if we take this picture, and what you can do is, if you copy, if you're in Chrome, you can right click the image and then reverse search the image. I'm in Safari, so I have to do it manually. But I can just sort of copy the image address. If I go to Google, to images, yeah, sure. And I can click this little guy here, and I can search by image. So basically, searches Google using images, and it will tell you if that image exists anywhere else on the internet. So you can see it's finding similar images, but they are all relating to Twitter, and they're all relating to my project. And for somebody unseasoned, perhaps that's a good sign, because the art's not been found anywhere else. It's not on an artist page. It's not on artist showcase websites or galleries or anything. It's just literally on my Twitter, which makes it look legit. But I know these tactics and methods, so I can sort of make the image not appear on Google, if that makes sense. So I've changed the brightness and the contrast, and I flipped to the image, not this one, but the ones in the banner, to make them not appear on Google. But that's also, yeah, that's a quick win. So you can do that as well. So I'm conscious of time. I'm waffling on a little bit. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My Zoom stopped sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, everything's the same for us. Yeah, we can see your screen.
What's on the screen?
Fame Ladies, Twitter.
Oh, it says the screen sharing's paused. I would. So Fame Ladies is actually a really good example of a good story, because they were a rug pull, they were a scam. There were some Russian dudes pretending to be a team of females and support female equality and all that kind of stuff. Complete massive scam. Well, obviously, I think we all know since then they got taken over by the community, by Danielle and Board Becky, and it's a great project now. But the point I want to make is that even though if the project turns out to be a scam or a rug pull, does it mean the project's dead? And it's actually a great investment, potentially great investment opportunity. So for Fame Ladies, when it came out that there was a scam, their floor was basically zero. Everyone was just offloading them for nothing. You could pick them up for free, practically. And now their floor is 0.25. So in terms of returns, investment wise, it's probably the biggest returns you could have ever made. Like, excluding obviously Bored Apes and the big projects. But from basically free to a quarter of an ETH, if you brought 100 of those, you'd be a millionaire, if not far off. So even if you do get scammed, even if you do get rug pulled, or even if you see one of those projects, what I would do, and what I've been doing pending time, is going into those communities, going into those discords, get a feel for the community in the discord. And if the community is really attached to the project and they really like the community and what the project did stand for before the devs reported it or whatever, then there's a good chance the community will take it over and it will grow into its own sort of separate project almost with a new team. And that could be a good chance to get him. Just, I guess, keep that in mind. Sorry, I'm sort of skipping ahead of everything at the minute. I wanted to keep this to 45 minutes. Yeah, I'll close that. I'll change the accounts now. I lost my tweet in a second. So I was going to show you our top dog inbox very briefly. So we get hundreds of DMs every single day. It goes into our spam, and it's just people just constantly off. I've already touched upon it. Constantly offering promo. Like there's no shortage of fake promotion, and even some of them are verified accounts, which is crazy. So just because an account is verified as well, doesn't offer legitimacy. You can buy verification fairly easily. You can buy a Twitter account that is already verified, and then you basically change the username or change the name. I'm going to skip that next slide. I'm going to summarize actually. Are my slides working? Zoom says it's not sharing my screen anymore.
Yeah, we can see. Don't be greedy.
Yeah, don't be greedy. So I guess just some takeaway tips. What I'm going to do after this is, because I wanted to keep it short to 45 minutes, I'm going to send some practical tips written down, and I'll circulate them after and what you can take away from this. But I guess to summarize, how not to get rug pulled and what to look out for is, I think number one is sit down, think about your goals and your values, stick to them, be true to yourself, and I guess only invest in what you personally value and you personally have conviction in. Don't be greedy, don't let the financial side get ahead of you. It's easy to get wrecked, for a better of a lack of term, if you jump into hype and FOMO. Just, I guess, set small, incremental, achievable goals. Again, have conviction in anything you buy. If you're tending to hesitate buying, or if you're tending to be driven purely by hype, FOMO, just take a second and just, I guess, think about the fundamentals of the project, and just take a minute, take 5 minutes, which is hard when something's minting and you don't want to miss out. But I generally would say miss out. There are so many projects launching every single day. There's going to be something else. It's better, if you're not sure, it's better to miss out than to mint and lose your money. Don't invest in what you can't afford. So be prepared to lose it all. Gary Vee says all the time, 90% of projects will go to zero and you will make losses. I've made losses. Abby's made losses. Everyone I know has made a loss somewhere. It's just going to happen. It's fine. Learn from it. The key thing is diversify your profile, spread your risk, and in the end, your wins will offset your losses, and just don't worry about the losses. It's fine. You just can't win them all. Don't be remortgaging. Don't be using credit cards, that kind of thing, to buy NFTs. That's silly. I think find your home. So find one community you can vibe with and you can call home. Obviously, for me, that's Top Dog, and I'd hope to think for a lot of you on here, it's also Top Dog. But just find that one community you really, really enjoy. Stick to that, and then try not to get emotionally attached to others. Think about it purely as an investment. I think if you bring your emotions into it, it can be quite hard to let go, even if money or whatever is at a risk. And then use whitelist partnerships from the communities you're in. So obviously at Top Dogs, we bring whitelist spots for our snack store. like Recent Eyes of Fashion, Meta Angels. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but those two ones that we've put in there because we've done our research, we've done our due diligence, we genuinely believe in the project and the team, and we're not necessarily saying you're going to make money. It's just that they're great fundamentals, they're a great team, it's a great project. So utilize those spots from the communities that you're in, because generally they put them in there because they don't want to sell you shit. They want to, a happy community is a good thing. Yeah, I'm gonna finish it there and actually just ask if anybody has any questions or wants to ask anything or is not sure on anything. Then please go ahead. You can mute yourself or just pop a message in the chat. We've got a chat. Is there something non-technical people to do for a project? Yeah, that's a good question, Kaz. I was going to touch upon that, but it is unfortunately quite technical. I tried to work around it, and I've actually got a tool in mind that I want to develop where it can check the basic things automatically. You basically put the contract address in, and it will come back with a score out of 10 of how sort of safe or trustworthy the contract is. But it is quite difficult. I've not got a bad example on me. What can we quickly check for? Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I thought about it, I couldn't really think of anything. I think generally I've not really heard recently of any contracts that are straight up scams, because at the end of the day, they want to take your ETH and they want to get that ETH out of the contract, and they want to give you your NFT and not be found out. So generally the contracts will be fine. The only real problem you might have is where there's a bug in the contract. I've heard a few stories of that happening. Either that's because, well, I've not really heard of a bug maliciously, but because the dev team is inexperienced in developing smart contracts. And it sort of comes back to the anonymous team as well. Like, I want to know who the dev is or who they're working with. Or it's because they've paid somebody on Fiverr who doesn't give a shit and they've just copied and pasted some other contract and not really understood what it does. But yeah, it's quite a difficult one.
I've got a question, Paul, actually.
Yeah.
I worry about, you find websites where you can mint. I worry about hitting the mint button in case because you're allowing it, you're signing it and allowing it to access your wallet, aren't you, or something. So I worry that maybe my wallet's going to get hacked if I click on a button on a mint website that's not legitimate, or the contract's not right. Can you kind of give us some advice about that?
Yeah, genuinely fine. So when you connect your wallet to a site, all that it's doing is telling that site you have a wallet, what wallet you use, and then your wallet addresses. That's all it's doing. They can't access funds, they can't do anything. So connecting your site to a wallet is fine. So with Board Bunnies, I'm going to connect my wallet now. In fact, I don't even have MetaMask on this browser, so I can't. But connecting site, absolutely fine. There's no issues there at all. There's nothing that they can do in doing that. You need to be careful in so minting is fine. You need to be careful in what you're actually. I was going to bring an example, but I don't think I can. Maybe I can get an image. Just work from an example. Yeah, so your mint dialog in MetaMask will look like this, right? So it will look like this. And that is essentially you sending Ether to another contract or to another account. And that's fine, as long as you obviously are aware that you're spending those funds. All it's doing is moving your ETH from your account into the smart contract, and it's only doing it for the amount that you approve. So for example, here you're approving 0.07. If you've got one ETH in your account, it doesn't mean that a contract can then withdraw one ETH. You're only approving it for the amount shown in your wallet. So again, there's no real risk there. The obvious risk is that you're sending that money to that contract, and then if that project turns out to be a scam, you're gonna lose that money. But that they can't access your wallet or anything like that. Signing is generally fine as well. So if you're asked to sign a request, which looks like this, example. So this sort of image is generally fine as well. All you're doing there is it's basically authenticating to a website. So you're logging in with your wallet. And again, they can't really do anything with that. It's just proving your identity and that you own that wallet. If you use the Beach Club on our website, you probably asked to do something similar. Now, where you do need to be careful is if so a website can ask you to sign sort of, not a sign request, can send a transaction for anything. So one is called set approval. Trying to find a good example image. So this is a good image. So if you're approving a new collection on OpenSea to sell, before you sell it, you've got to approve OpenSea to spend your asset. And it looks like this. I don't know if anyone is familiar with this dialogue or knows what this is. So the function is called set approval for all. And when you send that transaction, it basically means, in the case of OpenSea, OpenSea can spend your NFTs for that contract you're approving. I agree, the UI in the wallet and MetaMask is not very helpful. They are improving it, and there's changes coming. You just got to be careful when you see set approval for all here. It basically means that you're approving whatever website, OpenSea, whatever mint site, to spend your NFTs, to use them. So once you send that transaction, they can burn your NFTs, they can send them somewhere else, they can steal them from you. So you need to be very careful with that. But yeah. Julia, do we have time to look at squiggles? I think I yeah, I saw these. Yeah, again, this is sort of similar to Pixel 1. Huge hype. I don't know too much about them. I've seen them. Are they semi-doxed? Or 307 facts? Yeah, I mean, a lot of followers that would definitely, before we're even minting, a lot of followers that would definitely put me as a yellow flag. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means because there's a lot of hype around them. I know that already. But I'd definitely be looking at their founders. So they put that in their bio. I would be. So one thing I would do for the founders is he's joined February 2009. It's a good sign. Could mean he's brought his Twitter account, again, changed the handle. One thing I would do here is then scroll through his bio, his Twitter page, and I'd try and find his earliest tweet. If the earliest tweet was just a month ago or something, even though his account is 2009, that would give me some yellow flags. I'm just going to quickly scroll through, see how far we can get. Yeah, so the first tweet he sent, or she sent, or they sent, or whoever, was earlier this year, just saying hi. And then the next one was in October. So that'd give me some sort of flags at least. It means that this account, who's the founder of the project, was potentially set up purposely for the Squiggles project. This was in December. And then a month or two before the founder's account was set up. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but it's just that's definitely something I'd be wary of, because the account is so old. Like, where are their tweets over the last 10 years? We'll quick look at this other one. Again, March 2007, and I bet you will see a similar story here, but their earliest tweet is, oh look, it's the same as the other guy, it's Jan, saying hello. That would, yeah, I'd get a bit of a flag there. Let's see if, oh sorry, the January this year. Yeah, not next year, January this year. Even though the account again is apparently 15 years old.
You know, it's 2022, right?
Yeah.
Did it say January 21st or 20?
No, this is 2022, so this was a few weeks ago, but the other one was 21st.
Oh, okay.
So that, yeah, that would give me some flags for sure. Wouldn't necessarily put me off fully, but I'd definitely be quite wary of them. And again, one thing I'd do is I'd reverse image search the images and stuff. I think they would have been found out by now, right? If they're stolen art. So I think it is genuine art they've paid someone to do. And again, this comes back to what is a rug pull? What does that actually mean? Have they got a website? I don't think they have, right? What's their Discord at? 372,000 people in there. So yeah, that's another sort of flag. It doesn't necessarily mean you won't, because there's so much hype and so much FOMO, seemingly, doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad investment.